Visually, I like what's going on. This was a draft for a painting. Oh, I can't show this on YouTube. This is chessboard, which was all done in black and white, and then its full title is "This was made for colour." Stuck with me whilst I was working my art studio, and I thought, why not have the whole book plastered in different colours, and this one could stay in black and white. I had been focusing more on poetry, and that's something I'm not super proud of. We're going to look at the illustrations in here. If you're interested in the writing, you're welcome to pause and read along. Opens up with a donkey. A lot of the time the first pages in sketchbooks are very special and you don't want to ruin them, and sometimes you can be too precious with what you have. I've done some positive affirmations about myself. I mean, it's nice, but it doesn't really mean much. Here I think I was craving having some kind of playful literature, poetry experience. Visually, I like what's going on here. I like the spirals, I like the colour. I will read this one with the snake. It's nihilistic, sort of a symbol of the beginning and end. This was a draft for a painting that was very unsuccessful. It came out boring in the final version. There's something to be said about just working from your imagination to rely on what your hunch is. In that painting, it was just so dull. This was a draft for a painting that was gigantic. It was like over 2 meters tall, it was bigger than me, and just like the octopus, the sketch is better than the final thing, and eventually ended up in the bin. Some nice line work. I still really like the look this gives off. Sometimes the absence of lines can be appealing as well. I remember this cafe. Drawings of observation are very good at putting me back in time to where I was. And it's not just how it looked, it's more like how the vibe was on that day. If it was a good day, a bad day, if it was peaceful, noisy. Oh, I can't show this on YouTube. It's not mine. This belongs to an artist. Pia at Instagram and Twitter. And then I think at this point I'd given up on colour. Unfortunately, in the colour book, it didn't last very long. Here I'm making plans for 2020. I don't think any of this stuff happened because of 2020. I think that's it for the colour book. It was something that I started with high expectations, and eventually that's where it ends. It starts out very ambitious. This is a content warning to mention that the next part of the video documents a trip to the hospital during a mental health crisis. If you're not comfortable watching this content, I suggest you go to this timestamp. And if you've enjoyed the video so far, a like would be appreciated, as I spent a long time editing this already. I can't believe I was Waluigi. Yeah, so it goes straight into it with emergency room that I've misspelled. I don't know if I wrote this in the emergency room whilst I was there, or if I did this the day after, or if I'm reflecting it months into the future, but let's just have a look at it and see what I had created. Please section me, I've been here for 12 hours. I'm going, please help me, okay. So, it's almost a catch-22 situation when you go to the hospital and say, I need you to look after me because I can't look after myself. And they say, well, clearly you can look after yourself if you're working in your own best interests to be here. That was very hard because it felt like I wasn't going to see my mum and dad again. And then here I'm reflecting on how bad it was, but at least I overcame it. And I wouldn't have gotten through that dark period without the help of my friends who are still here to support me today. Got some more drawings of streetlights. This is a very, very, very bad rotation of an object in my mind. Weirdly, this oil painting is a draft for a larger painting I did, much nicer in the sketchbook, like it always is. And then a nice looking cactus done in biro pen or a micron pen. It fucking sucks that no one met me before. Who am I? I wish someone would change me into something I'd be happy with. Where are they? I want to fit in. Nice looking flowers actually. This looks like it's done from a pot of ink with a brush rather than a pen. And then in the back again, I've got some more primitive, bad illustrations. I think I was following prompts for Inktober. I've never finished an Inktober. It's just something that starts with a lot of energy and I can never seem to follow through with it. I still don't know where these abstract shapes are coming from. Maybe it's just from loosening up so much and letting go, and I think maybe that's what I can learn from these two sketchbooks, is that with the octopus that I was trying to draw and the writing I was doing, it's just nice to be able to switch off your brain and do some things that are less controlled. Oh, gosh, we had no idea what was coming next, and I think that's why the book ends, because after January 2020, the world ends for a long time. And weirdly enough, despite how poorly I started the year, 2020 was actually very good for me. Not art-wise, but I ended up getting a job in a very strange workplace called a beanbag factory, and I can tell you more about that in my next sketchbook. Let me know if you want to see some more, and thanks for watching. Bye.